It's good to have you back. It's been so long, Doc. We really missed you.
I'm sorry for being absent.
Doctor, how are you feeling? Are you able to remember anything?
Sort of. It's like a bad dream. A long one. And feels like I wasn't me. Now I'm just trying to process it. It's so hard.
How does it feel to be back in the light after wandering in the darkness for so long?
You know how when you wake up, bright light hurts your eyes and it's hard to see? It's like that. I still can't directly look at the light. I need to adjust.
I'm worried. Is the doctor ever going to be his old, happy self again?
I've always managed somehow, right? But this could take some time.
It is hard, Doctor. You've been through so much pain. It's a horrible thing to live with. And you've had it weighing you down for so long. Yet you still keep pushing, Doctor. Keep fighting your pain and trying to do what you think is best. You're stronger than you know, and I believe in you. It sucks, and it's horrible, but I know you can make it.
I can burden my own pain, but I don't want to make others suffer through it. I've been horrible, and I made so many suffer out of my selfishness.
Whether your taste for adventure has returned or not, you should rest and clean up a bit. I doubt your self-care has been all that great recently, and also those clothes don't suit you.
You're right. I'll let Twilight run a few tests on me first, then freshen up in the Tardis.
Recovery is a process. It'd be unreasonable to expect you to get completely better overnight. We'll do our best to help guide you through this process. We're going to make sure you're not alone in this.
Well, I just need to say, in case things go sour, you've done a wonderful job so far. I wouldn't be here without all. Well, most of you.
Ah, I'm so proud of you, Doctor. You've come so far. I'm so proud of you for trying when, even when it's hard. You've come around and you haven't given up. I've seen you all my supporting energy.
I may have come far, but I shouldn't have fallen as deep as I did. I should be better than that.
Good luck, Thera. You'll need it.
I know.
Come downstairs with me. I have everything set up.
All right.
So, Twilight, what are you testing for? You're testing triggers. I hope you'll be careful.
All right, I want you to answer questions like normal while I run scans on your brain and magical activity.
Okay.
It's good to have you back, Doc, but it's not the first time we've seen you, well, turning back to the light. Even if for just for a moment. How can we guarantee that you won't snap once more if you stumble upon some trigger? Can Twilight do something about it? You won't be able to avoid mention of that stuff after all. Question. Is Doc, is this permanent or are you going to make a relapse like you have in the past? Whatever took over the doctor, is it gone forever, or did the thing, whatever it was, go somewhere? Everything has to go somewhere, right?
I wish I could promise you I won't have a relapse. I'll fight it as much as I can, but it still might happen, and I'm sorry if it does.
Hey, Doctor, I hope you can feel a little pride from your despair. I don't mean pride for what you did in that state, but more so pride that you got through it. And despite everything, you're still you.
Did I really get through it, though? I feel more like I lit it all on fire, and that fire hasn't stopped blazing just because I'm finally looking back at it.
They actually managed to help you. Does that mean this is goodbye?
Well, I certainly hope not. Even if I'm better, I'm not totally better, and I was hoping everyone could stick around to help me recover.
Doctor, you have no right to criticize people and who they fall in love with. I mean, you fell in love with George, who was a shrub.
To be fair, that was only because of a love potion, and George wasn't just any shrub. George was grown from a clipping of a tree of cheam, meaning he was more complex than any trees you've ever seen.
Why are you so offended by what Susan wanted to do with her life? Didn't you just say that you'd be willing to fob yourself and do the same thing with Twilight? Haven't you told us multiple times that you just like to live a simple life, free from responsibilities that the doctor burdened you with? Why is that an okay thing for you to want to be not for her? Yeah.
You're right. I'm a hypocrite. I've just been hurt so much by my attachment to humans. It's hard not to feel spite and regret about it. And I feel like humans took my granddaughter away from me.
Doctor, are you so worried about becoming your future self, the one who had his wings ripped off? Ooh. Doctor, are you scared this will turn you into the broken self you found blowing bubbles for Derpy?
I still dread that day.
I hate to ask, but I feel it gotta. Do you recall the truth and could share that story while you were ill? You refused to ever do such a thing, and I feel the root of the matter is that event. I assume it was something akin to what happened with AJ's time with Discord. Hey Doc, you're not Discord anymore. Are you able to show us the truth without freaking out?
I'm not ready. I'm not. I'm not. I just can't. The truth doesn't matter. I can be who I want to be.
He inspires to be the best, yet he isn't at his best. Ironic, isn't it?
You know how it is. The people who hurt the most are the ones who show the most compassion.
The readings picked up a bit when you were talking about your future and the truth, but it's not enough data to say whether your current condition is. Keep answering questions.
I feel like the only way we can get past this problem is if you confess to us what the truth is.
It'll only cause more problems. I'm telling you, I'm just not ready.
You don't have to tell us anything before you're ready, Doc. Not the truth or anything else right now. We're on your schedule. You decide what to tell us and when.
Thank you. I know my avoidance is frustrating, but this is something I need to come to terms with.
Doctor, are you feeling that love for the universe you once had? We all love and will continue to help no matter what.
It's a very shallow stream of compassion, but it's limited in its reach and only directed at a few things. I might get more in small bursts.
Don't expect us to just forgive and forget, Doctor. Yes, you were a victim, but so was everyone you hurt. Just because I'm proud of you doesn't mean I don't still want to slap you.
I know. Excuses won't make anything better. I should have fought harder. I should have been stronger.
Let us hope that you don't lose yourself, Doctor. You may be a man of healing, but even those that live many lifetimes must rest and think. We may need you, Doctor, but they need you too. Don't forget that you're much more than a madman in a box.
I do intend to rest first before attempting anything serious.
Not to drag you into existential crisis as soon as you wake up, Doc, but how do you feel about the wings? The wings you most definitely shouldn't have.
Well, it's a bit not easier to keep them than to get rid of them. They aren't causing any problems like they used to. I don't even know if I can get rid of them with enough energy like before, since I've had them so long.
So you're like still obsessed with butter, or did that leave along with the Discord sickness?
I've never stopped loving butter. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will convince me otherwise.
The ultimate test, Doctor. How do you feel about pears? A mood for a pear?
I'm conflicted. I like the taste, but the concept of pears terrifies me. I guess I didn't care when I was cursed.
Doctor, how do you feel about the master?
If he's a threat, I'll deal with him, but he's not on my top priority list.
Yo, Doc. You... Good to see you awake. You've been trying to think... Not you.
Oh.
You've been trying to think of other sources of good memories to help you, and think I got an obvious one. Though try not to freak out. We need Derpy. She thinks the world of you. If we're looking for good memories, she's the mare.
No, I don't want her memories. She thought more than the world of me. That hurts the most.
There's someone who's been waiting for you to recover just as much as we have. Can you guess who that might be?
Don't say it.
She doesn't blame you, you know.
Stop.
What about Derpy? While you were all talking about Derpy, would trigger you into a cold-blooded rage. Do you still feel that she betrayed you now, or are you more willing to forgive her?
She let me down. Why couldn't she see I wasn't well in the first place?
When are you going to speak to Derpy again? Doctor, we apologize to Dizzy and the kids.
I don't think I can.
So, Doc, what about Derpy? After everything that's happened, it feels only right you should try correcting things with her. You lost her a while ago, but she isn't the type to give up on you. Try to mend things with her, Doc. She still cares about you immensely, and we know you do too.
I'm still too upset. I could lash out again.
So, what do you think about Derpy and the kids? What are your feelings for them now that you're better? Thinking of Sparkler, you know, they're yours. Warden told you your magical signature was in them. Why have you kept denying it?
I don't know what it means for them. To partially come from me? Will they outlive their peers? Will they regenerate? I'm not just scared of being a father. I'm scared of what they might have to live with because of me.
Doctor, we know you've been greatly hurt by your ex-companion, but just to be clear, do you still think that it is right for her to suffer for not sticking around you at that time?
Not the way she suffered, no. I went way too far, and she needs to let go of me. Anyone in their right mind should have.
Are you still mad at Derpy, Doc?
I'm really disappointed.
Do you miss Derpy?
There are things I miss and things I don't. I miss her compassion, but I really don't miss the way she'd look at me when she thought I wasn't looking.
Seems Discord's magic has a stronger hold on the Doctor than I thought.
Doc.
Now we need our Doc.
Okay. I got lost because I'm trying to follow along, but the font is so small. So the good news is it's not as bad as it was before, but there was definitely a spike when this topic was brought up. It's safe to say Discord's curse is still lingering, so we all need to be careful until we find a way to snuff it out.
Would would you ever consider fixing your relationship with Derpy? She's been fighting for you and hasn't given up. Perhaps she's a good friend after all.
I'm sorry, but after everything, I think this relationship is shattered.
You hit her. What do you expect her to do? Stick around and wait for something worse? Bring the kids into that kind of environment? By extension, she knew you weren't okay, but she also knew that made you dangerous. Were you disappointed in her? Honestly, Doc, what do you think Dizzy should have done? Stay with you? Risk getting herself abused verbally and physically even more? Her compassion would never be enough to hold you down. She gave you space, thinking it would be for the best. Isn't it what you wanted? For her to let you go?
I don't know. She could have at the very least left without adding insult to injury. She could have stopped asking me to save the world every chance she got. That seemed a lot more important to her than my state of mind.
Have it ever occurred to you that the reason why Derby left you after you two got separated in those caves might be that someone more sinister pulled the strings? Someone like Discord? Perhaps, who knows, maybe she shared some sort of truth with her as well. What bother even separate you in the first place if she's such a selfish pony then?
Well, maybe.
Doctor, just so you know, Derby might have influenced by Discord into leaving you. She met him as well, and he knew that you're going to be shaken up by the truth, so he pulled the strings to make it seem even worse from the side.
He might have, but I don't know.
After you run with the master on the dead remote hash, when you fainted from the pounding in your head, Derpy was the one to carry you back to the Tardis. She still cared about you in that state you were in, even after all you put her through. She never stopped caring for you in the first place.
She needs to stop. She has to stop with this codependency and obsession. She'll only get hurt.
Doc, the last of the archives finally reared its head to us. The only reason we're still here is because Ditzy set us up to help you. She's the only reason the communications remained functional after you saw what you did back in the caves. In a way, we made a promise to her that we would keep you company when she couldn't. We intend to keep that promise. I hope you know. I hope you know that Ditzy actually kept the channel open so you wouldn't be alone.
That was her doing? Oh. Oh.
Don't push yourself too much, Doc. You don't have to meet Derpy head on. You can try sending her letters at first. When you're ready, face her and the kids and her angry brother. Try to write a note. Even if she'll never read it, it may help you figure out your feelings.
Letters. Yeah, letters. Could be safe. Maybe I'd need to think about it.
Hey, Doctor, since you've seen you talk about Derpy like this, just not see her. Do you think Twilight could give her a message from the real you? I mean, what would you say to her, assuming this doesn't work out long term?
I don't know if you'd know how to find her. But if you do, you can tell her she didn't deserve what I did to her. She deserves someone far better than me. Someone stronger and kinder.
I'll see what I can do.
Doctor, we know you're not the type to want to hurt others. Those who you have hurt know that too, realizing something's very wrong. They don't hold it against you, at least. They don't want they're in control of their own minds. They love you for the person you are and the great friends you've been.
I hold it against me, though.
What Twilight said is likely going to prompt many questions. You'll probably find it hard to answer. I just want to keep you in mind that even though we're all glad you're back to your old state of mind, we still love you in your more sickly state, and will continue to love you no matter what happens. Please be sure to to take care of yourself after testing. You've been through a lot and need some kindness.
I will. I think it's about time to head back to the Tardis. I can rest there and reevaluate myself.
If he passes the test, I'm assuming that he's free to go out on his own or with Minuet. But what are you going to do if he fails into the test?
Doc.
Sorry. Well, loading. Well, he's not entirely fixed. I think that he's stable enough to leave, but he needs supervision.
Hey, Twilight, when do you think he's ready to see Derpy again?
It needs to be a very controlled situation. I wouldn't advise it right now.
Cringe. So, Doc, where do you plan on going once Twilight is done with our testing?
I'm not sure yet. I want to see how I do for a while before I attempt anything more major. I'll probably just park the TARDIS somewhere remote to give myself time to figure out what to do.
I'm going to see you back to your old self, Doc, but just remember that if you need rest, then rest. While others do need help, it is near magnitudes harder when you yourself just need just as much help. So please take care of yourself. If not for us, then how about for those who care and support you? Can you do that at least?
Yes, I promise to rest. Don't worry.
Where has Minuet been during all of this resting, I hope?
Yes, Twilight gave me a potion tea blend to help replenish my magic faster.
You look like you need a nap too, Minuet.
I suppose I might at that. Not as young as I once was.
I suppose it's up to Patience to keep the doctor in good shape now, with the memory spell ready and all that.
That would be the best option we have for now. But it's also important that she take notes and study the doctor while she's with him. I'm happy to do it. I'll be thorough so you can get a good idea of his day-to-day.
Minuet, I hope you and the doctor will be staying together for a while. It's nice to see at least some semblance of family come through during this difficult time.
Of course, I'll stay until he's stable. Be an awful thing to leave someone you care about in a mental vacuum with no one to help them adjust. Take care of yourself.
I'll do my best.
Aw. So after a little rest and a few tests to make sure you're 100% in the right mind, what are you going to do? You made a lot of mistakes. It'll take a long time, even for an immortal, to make up everything, especially those closest to you. After your rest, Doctor, what do you plan to do? Something easy like going somewhere to center yourself? Apologize to those you hurt? But please be mindful of yourself. Don't just throw yourself into the thicket if something happens. Please take care of yourself.
I may not be ready to face the ones I hurt yet, but I think after I've rested, I'll start with those letters. To get my thoughts out, at least.
Do you think your little puddle of love will be able to fill up and grow? Do you think the new fears instilled in you will hold you back?
I think a lot of the pain I'm feeling is coming from love. I don't know how long it will take to fill, but I can safely say it's raining a bit.
What kindled your love of all in the first place?
When I came to this universe, I realized it was a fresh start with a new life and a whole new place. And I promised myself I'd approach it with all with awe and cherish it. I spent a long time being angry and hateful inside. I've wanted to let that go.
Would you stop crying all the time? None of your past selves would have blubbered this much.
Exactly. None of them could. In my last life, I found myself admiring how humans have happy tears. And I kept thinking after that how a human can cry for practically any emotion. I wanted to experience that myself, but I wasn't sure how. But when I woke up here as a pony, I found my emotions were more complex and capable of powerful feelings. I want to cry. I want to show my passion. This is as close to human as I've ever felt, and I wouldn't dare deny myself those feelings. So no, I won't stop shedding my tears. Even when I'm cursed, I keep those tears. Now it's time to get some rest. I'm exhausted.
Honestly, every relapse is inevitable. It is probably best to do whatever you need to do now.
Minuet, while we're resting, do you think you could hold my hoof? I'm scared I won't wake up as myself.
Hold on, my page got lost. Oh, of course.
I sincerely hope that you and the doc get the rest he needs. Poor man's been through too much. But at the same time, this is all over. Hopefully he can reestablish old friendships. Our dreams are meant to help us and deal with our greatest struggles. What will you dream of, Doctor? You can't escape your nightmares. So the mirror pool, it freaked you out the last time you were there. Your reflection, the cloning, and him. What are your thoughts on all it now? You can't escape running. Eventually the truth will catch up.
You can't fight what's already fact, little puppets.
I can't imagine the sleep will be incredibly restful. Though for what it's worth, I hope Inuit can keep the nightmares at bay. Maybe the Tardis can play too and help you again.
Well, that certainly isn't normal.
Yeah, he's been doing that every now and then since the incident, no matter what it means or what the golden glitter dust does. Whether it's a good sign or a bad one, but it'll be good to have someone with more than half a clue look at it. We've been wondering about that ourselves. What does it mean, patience?
Seeing the process up close, I have to wonder if that's not tied to his hallucinations of pony form of the hourglass. But that's just one idea. It's bizarre, and I have not seen anything like it.
What is the TARDIS doing to the Doctor? Could it be that it's trying to suppress something that's going on with the Doctor?
A Time Lord in their TARDIS could be almost symbiotic. It wouldn't shock me if this particular one was capable of telling the Doctor to sit down.
Minuet Arara, the Hourglass, has been doing that for a while now. She says she holds the Doctor's energy for when needed. Perhaps it's like a special device made by the Time Lords of this universe to slowly reimage your regeneration energy into the particular time pony in the event that they need to regenerate and their cycle is over. Perhaps the Doctor is close to his end?
I hope he isn't close to dying. Certainly his body is under enough stress to slide into regeneration, but he can't be that close to the end of his lives.
Minuet, was that regeneration energy, or was it something else? Could you tell?
It's not technically regeneration energy. They smell similar though, but these are regenerative triggers, not the regeneration itself. If we smell them, we know the situation is stressful enough that one of us is undergoing severe trauma. There's no doubt that the doctor is in deep pain. But I've never seen a Tardis just bank on energy like that.
I think it'd be best for the doctor to confront his demons and show his dark side. He is in control, not them. They've been discord.
Shh. You just woke up, that's all. It can be jarring on even the gentlest of days, let alone this day.
I think I should start working on those letters. It could do me some good to get it out while I can.
Of course.
And now I crashed. Of course.
God.
Before you settle in, please drop me at this point in time. I've somewhere to be. And please don't hesitate to just jump forward and get me straight away. I don't want you to be alone for long.
Oh, all right.
I'll see you in a few Tardis minutes, Doctor. It's patience. Do let me in.
Miss Minuet, can I ask who the lucky creature who can call you Minnie?
Welcome home, Minnie, my love. Even a day away seems too long, Crochet.
Oh my. Now, isn't the time for sleep you need to be out there hunting this Skull down and making him wish he'd never been born?
We still don't know how much control he might still have over me. It would be too dangerous to go directly after him.
When you're done with the readings, how about you head back to the Tardis and have a fashion montage so you can figure out what you want your new look to be to take your mind off things before we bombard you with more questions about your thoughts and feelings.
I do feel kind of stuffy in this thing, and the black is depressing. I could freshen up before I start writing.
If you're going for a new look, why don't you try saddlebags? This may be a bit patronizing, but backpacks can be given to dogs bred for work to make them feel like they have purpose. And it's possible doing something similar could help you out.
I don't understand how Pegasi can be comfortable in saddlebags. It's a blur no matter how I place my wings.
You left your old green tie behind, so how about you put on that sparkling blue tie we saw you toss around the last time you were rummaging in your wardrobe? I think it suits you now.
It's simple, but it works. I suppose I don't need to look all that different. And I'm not really in a montage mood.
So, Doc, give us a rundown on how you plan to construct this letter to Derpy. Give us your thought process.
I don't know. I'm going to try to write a bit before I pick Minuet back up, because it's personal.
I know this is hard, but sometimes pain is needed in order to get better. At some point, you must be brave enough to face what you did and own up to it so you can move on.
Do I write out my feelings? Or do I make it about her?
You lay down, and sometimes you let us down, but we're still here rooting for you, believing in you. You made it so far, and we're proud of your efforts. We made it to get here. Keeping yourself and trying to improve, we'll do our best to guide you all along the way. Just like she requested us to do in the final message, you should. You know we're sticking by your side on our own accord because we care about you.
I can do this.
Just say whatever comes to mind regarding it. Let your heart guide you and write good luck. Yeah, I feel that. So you're not breaking out in rage at the mention of Derpy anymore. That's good. But why is it so bad that she thought so highly of you in your previous state? Directed negatively to praises from us as well. So we know it's not Derpy. Only issue is the pressure to live up to expectations.
It's something like that. It's that if I don't, I mean, nothing or less than nothing to others. I guess I figured if I just accepted it and did nothing myself, I'd spare myself the heartbreak. I could be angry instead.
You were overwhelmed by her commitment, yet you wanted her to stay when you lashed out. Both of you didn't meet each other's expectations, but at least Miss Whooves tried to make things right by giving you space. It's the best she could have done for you, Doctor, even if it hurts. Derpy knew she couldn't be much of a help for you. It's only natural.
Her leaving was the best option. I know it seems like that's what's gotten under my skin, but it was the fact that she didn't understand how afraid I was. I didn't lash out that first time because I hated her or because I was angry at her. I was terrified that she wasn't listening.
Upset she couldn't stay, and upset she can't let go. If you could easily shape your current situation to be in any way you want it to, what would it be like? Would you be happy with it, or is it just what you think is best?
It sounds really bad, but I kind of wish I never came here. This alternate future of mine that had been mentioned, I'm not going to get that. There's nothing I can do. Other than that, maybe if I'd stayed, never getting my memories when I came here.
It might be for the better that she left you be, Doc. Your condition was awful. It's not something you can hug out and forget over a plate of muffins. Derpy's just an average mare, but she's smart enough to know when to step down. She asked us to keep an eye on you. Why would she bother if she didn't want to do anything with you anymore?
You have to understand something. She was all I had. She was the only one in the universe I was attached to. And this universe doesn't know me. It was better for her to leave. But for me, it meant all I had was the Tardis.
Are you afraid somebody falls in love with you? That's why you push Derpy away?
My relationship with love has not been good. For example, River Song was my wife because time said so. And I knew when I first met her that I'd love her. I never really got the time to figure out if I loved her. And when I lost Rose, I lost a part of myself.
When did you first notice Derpy getting overly attached to you? Was it after anything remarkable happened? Is it possible that an outside force was involved?
It started after I first got my memories and saved Ponyville. I could see her shift from being a friend and caretaker to being an enamored admirer. And it grew and grew over time.
Derpy knew that the doctor she loved and still loved was in there somewhere. She hasn't given up trying to help you.
She wants me to be who I was, but I don't think I can be that anymore.
You know, you're the only one who was often interfering with Derpy's ass. You're the one who would follow with no request. The one who fell out of love, cursed to save her from danger. The one who almost killed Neo when he hurt her dog. And you've been obsessed with her helping. How's that okay? But not her trying to make things right for you now. No.
Does she want me to be better so I can be the doctor she loves? The one who always saves the day? Or does she actually want what's best for me? does she even care enough to know what's actually best for me? Or is she only thinking of what's best for her?
Doctor, it's quite hypocritical of you to say that Derpy is obsessed with you when you were the one who was constantly nudging yourself into her personal space. Hell, even you had the hate phase. You just go randomly pick a fight with her. Derpy's still trusting you in her own deal. She does this for your sake, not for herself or to get your approval.
Fine, you're right. I'm obsessed too, because she was everything to me. Which is another reason why this really all needs to stop, doesn't it? These obsessions only cause one another pain.
Maybe it's not the right time to write letters, Doc. It's not like you have to necessarily deal with Derpy right now. Don't force yourself. She doesn't wait for you to come forward any minute.
I can't do this. I can't write this letter properly. I'd better go get Minuet. I feel like I'm changing a bit.
You should tell the master about the doctor's current progress, Minuet.
Hold on, I got lost. My page skipped around again. Unless he asks, there's no reason to share all of the doctor's personal struggles with him. The doctor deserves privacy and agency, just as the master does.
So, Minuet, have you married anyone since separating from the doctor? And if not, what's the likelihood of you remarrying him?
Oh no, I didn't remarry. I wouldn't be opposed to being married again, but it wouldn't be with the doctor. He's my friend, and I'm grateful he trusts me. But it's plain we have different trajectories.
Minuet, you said that your Tardis is stuck in the library. Is it still accessible?
I could visit the Tardis if I wanted, but my Tardis is functionally and, I believe, spiritually dead. She can support life if need be, but she can't move, generate additional power, shift internal capacity, or adapt to daily situational changes. There's no new or junked TARDISes around to strip for her parts, even if it was somehow to my advantage to fix her.
I'd be careful, Minuet. If the doctor sees you're unkosher here, he might relapse, possibly even relapsing straight into hide. Please be careful.
Of course, the Master has a complicated and violent relationship with the Doctor, though it wasn't always that way, and I hope it won't be that way. I think we can all agree that, for now, as Theta recovers, my personal life should remain confidential.
If you value your low profile, Minuet, you should be very wary about spending time with the doctor. Discord seems to be very in tune with the company he keeps.
Every moment that passes, I grow and tend a garden of hate, lush and heavy with vengeful energy towards discord. Should he come for me, then he comes for me. That's the horror of it. This isn't my control. I won't stop helping Theta simply because goddamn Discord might have an opinion on the matter.
Snarl. Minuet, the doctor might only have one regeneration left. We lost count. He did once use his regeneration energy to heal himself without regenerating, and he put the rest into a separate hand.
One more thing that's out of my control, though the idea it might be his last. That's wretched. If there's more to learn and grow and see and teach, then the doctor deserves a chance to experience it. I hope he stays alive.
How did everything go?
Very well, thank you for being, patient. How did penning the letter go?
I tried, I really did, but I couldn't come up with anything satisfactory. I started reacting badly.
It must be very emotional. Come, we'll work on it together.
I get the feeling that Minuet is going to come back and find a pile of crumpled paper blocking the door of the study.
Oh dear.
All those poor trees. First things first with letter making, let's see how bad the trash ones are. Maybe we can Frankenstein a good idea of the failures, assuming he even wrote anything. I hope he did. If not, that's a dreadful waste of good paper.
I couldn't get past the first sentence in any of them.
Maybe with Minnie Wet on your side, you can come up with the appropriate letter of Derpy. That way, in case you start to feel off, she can help you guide your way into making a nice letter for Derpy, Doc.
Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by how much you want to say, Theta. You're in control, not your fear.
It's okay, Doctor. Writing the perfect I'm sorry no is hard after something like what you did. Just keep trying and don't give up, lad. They don't have to be heard, Doc. Just getting down anything that comes to mind, all you need.
I don't want them to be perfect. I just want them to not sound pathetic or insincere.
I understand it, but it is good idea. It's gonna be more difficult, you think. Anyway, just right. I'm sorry, I traumatized you. Maybe of how far you're feeling, and take your time. This whole situation is complicated, so go at your own pace. Oh, also, your love, Derpy. I suggest that you write in full honesty about your feelings and hers. Also, it's okay if you don't feel the same about Derpy and for everything you two have been through. But just remember, the good memories and respect one another can be tough. But take your time, Doctor. Maybe you should just tell Derpy all this. You are scared and weren't angry with her. You can't expect her to read your mind, and communication is very important. In any kind of relationship issue, she judges you. Just let her judge fairly, based on the truth, rather than mistaken impressions.
How I'm feeling is so complicated that even I don't know how I'm feeling, let alone how to describe it. My head is at war, and there are things I want to say and don't want to say at the same time.
Perhaps you should write in your letter to Derpy about the pressure of expectations, for one.
See, that's where it starts to sound pathetic, don't you think?
Please don't try to fit all your struggles on paper. You know well enough that someday you'll have to discuss some things with her in person. You can't run from it.
I'm not ready. I'm not. Not yet. I'm still feeling that horrible anger deep down, and if it comes out,
If you're struggling with writing a letter from the heart, it might be it might help to take a step back and outline what is exactly what you're trying to communicate. Let a skeleton first draft, then hopefully you can build up without getting overwhelmed.
I don't know how to figure out what I want. Is it closure? But closure sounds terrifying too. I hate endings. I hate them.
I don't think an ending is the best course anyhow.
Don't get discouraged. You don't have to send the letters to her. They could be for you. Say what you want to say. You can work on fine-tuning it for her eyes later.
To me, yes, there's less pressure that way. It'd be like a diary in that case, I suppose.
When you know how you'd write it to yourself, then you'll feel more confident writing to her. A diary or journal would be ideal.
Doctor, I think it's best we drop the subject of Derpy for a while. Your hurt feelings about the situation seem too much to process right now. Part of healing recovery is giving yourself time to be. Don't push yourself to do things you're not ready for. You deserve some time to rest.
It probably would be best if I stopped for now. I really did try, but I need more time.
If writing to Derpy isn't working, why don't just start smaller, like writing about how you feel about your current situation and anything that's bothering you. You could even write to someone else, like Jack or even Twilight and Minuet. Maybe you should write Derpy's letters last, since it seems the most difficult. Try starting with the ones you feel most comfortable with.
I'll see what I can do.
Everyone's asking about Derpy, and that's all well and good. What about Jack? What about Jack? We've been talking so much about Derpy, but you shot Jack in the head. What about Jackie Boy? He tried to kill ya, but that's only because you were contagious. How do you feel about Jack now, Doctor?
Jack. Jack, I'm scared of Jack. I was angry, but now I know he's after me. Even if it's the curse, he's still dangerous.
Doctor, why did you shoot Jack?
It's not like I wanted to kill him. I knew he'd come back. I wanted to show him the consequences of threatening like that.
Fair enough. You won't talk to Derpy again, but what about Jack? Doctor, would you be willing to apologize to the man who was so loyal to you after all you did?
I don't know, but maybe it's worth writing a letter as well.
Not. Doctor, perhaps you should try to get in contact with Jack. He's an old friend. I'm sure he's seen that you're making the effort. We can meet you halfway. Maybe his memories can help you too.
Normally I would agree with you, but he's a threat now.
Doctor, you're worried about what Jack is up to. The last time you saw him, it looked like he may have started up torture again. Also, it may just be me, but he didn't. Didn't that bat pony who was with him seem familiar?
Of course I'm worried. I know the things he's capable of. And the Bat Pony. Well, you're right, I think I remember him working with Warden. Somewhere else. But it's fuzzy. Fluffy.
I would suggest keep an eye out for jolly old Jack Harkness. It seems after you and him parted ways, you infected him with the Discord's curse. He's barely managed to keep it at bay by dying repeatedly to halt the discording process.
So he's still infected. Which is even further proof of how dangerous he is right now.
I'm guessing the reason you shut Derpy and Jack out and shoved them away because it was easier than trying to deal with them.
Not because it was easier, because I didn't want to get hurt worse than I was.
Have you been keeping an eye on the Master? What do you think he's up to? Alright, might as well rip the band-aid off. What do you plan to do about the Master?
Same as Jack, he's dangerous, and I want to avoid him if I can. The darker part of me wants him dead, but so far he's only really acted as a threat to me. But if he shows himself as a threat to the world or universe, I'll stop him.
Do you feel the same about Twilight now that you're you?
I don't know. I can't identify these feelings. I care about her, that I know. But to what extent, I'm not sure anymore. I don't know if I was mistaken, desperate, or genuine. When you can't feel love very well and find a little of it, feels like a lot more.
Here's a not-so-scary question. What do you think about your current hairstyle? I personally like it.
It's better than it looked when it was first cut. I suppose it's alright, but I want to grow it back out. Not as long as it got, mind you, but back when I was maintaining it.
Your Time Lord body has been fighting the discordation this whole time. Is it like an immune system? Will you be able to better fight it in the future? We noticed the curse getting stronger as you do.
Since it's a curse, I'm wondering if my body's magical immune system doesn't work as well as normal ponies. Maybe I lack the magic to properly fight this because I'm not from here.
Hey, Doctor, do you have any plans if, say, your discorded side takes over again? What, would it just be seclusion again, or...?
Well, Minuet will be here to help, and I trust her. I think the best thing I can do is make sure I have support in case it happens again. Other than that, I really have no idea what I'll do if it happens.
I can't even begin to imagine what you've been through, Doc. So much rage and pain, yet sadness as well. You try to be the best example for everyone, to always be better, but even the best can fall. What's important is to stand back up and keep moving forward. So I ask you, Doctor, to start working towards being better, and the forgiveness of others. Are you ready to forgive yourself?
Forgive myself. Even before I was a pony, that was always something I struggled with. I really can't say I'm ready. I could try, but it wouldn't be true.
Back before your cave visit happened, did you try so hard to hide the fact that you've been married before? You let Twilight know that Minuet is an ex-wife, painlessly, with no hesitation.
Because Derpy was so clearly in love with me that it would have hurt her to find out. Twilight and I have an understanding. We're not possessive of one another. Plus, Minuet is my ex-wife. River was up in the air.
We've been asking a lot about yourself and others, but what do you think about us? Way back when this blog originally started, you weren't even supposed to know it existed. And when you found out, you were only supposed to be able to hear us in the zero room. But now it's become everywhere you go. Do you like us? Are we overbearing? What are we to you?
Well, there are some of you who have done more harm than good, but most of you have really helped me get through the worst of this, and I wouldn't be where I am now without you. You're basically my companions now.
Doctor, how come you never question the fact that we know so much about you even from before the Ponyverse?
That's true, I should have questioned something like that. But I've had this feeling since answering questions that it was natural for you to have this information. That somehow you've been watching this whole time. I don't know how to explain it.
Did you hate yourself? If not, did you?
I have for a long time. I think it gets worse with each life, ever since the Time War, but I've always tried to make up for it, until I was afflicted with the curse.
What made you feel better or worse when you were under the curse? Is there anything we can do to make the experience more bearable while we look for a cure? That works best to help guide your cursed self to the right direction.
What helped me feel better was validation and support for my choices and feelings. The things that made me feel worse, anyone trying to tell me who I am, or what I'm meant to do. In that state, asking me to be the doctor is like asking someone with chronic depression to be happy.
It's common to just give up, but it takes effort and courage to change. So I guess I'll be the one to ask you, what makes you afraid of losing yourself again, Doctor?
I'm scared that if I get hurt one more time, I won't be coming back. I have to fight this.